A Royal Princess by Christina Rossetti. I, a princess, king descended, decked with jewels, gilded dressed, would rather be a peasant with a baby at her breast, for all her shines so like the sun, and in purple like her best. 2 and 2 my guards behind, 2 and 2 before, 2 and 2 on either hand, they guard me evermore. Me, poor dove, that must not go, eagle that must not soar. All my fountains cast their perfumes, all my gardens grow, scented woods and foreign spices, with all flowers in blow, that are costly out of season as the seasons go. All my walls are lost in mirrors, whereupon I trace self to right hand, self to left hand, self in every place, self-same solitary figure, self-same seeking face. When I have an ivory chair high to sit upon, almost like my father's chair, which is an ivy throne, where I sit uplift and upright, where I sit alone. Alone by day, alone by night, alone days without end. My father and my mother give me treasures, search and spend. O my father, O my mother, have you near a friend? As I am a lofty princess, so my father is, a lofty king, accomplished in her kindly subtleties, holding in the strong right hand world kingdom's balance. He has quarrelled with his neighbors, he has scored his foes, vessel counts and princes, full aware his pennon goes. Long descended valiant lords whom the vulture knows, on whose track the vulture swoops, when they ride in state, to wreck the strength of armies, double down the great. Each of these my court was servant, none of these my maid. My father, counting up his strength, sets down his equal pen, so many head of cattle, head of horses, head of men, these for slaughter, these for breeding with a how and when. Some to work on roads, canals, some to man his ships, some to smart in mines, then of sharp overseas wipes, some to trap for beast in land where utmost winter lives. Once it came into my heart, and riled me like a flood, but these two were man and woman, human flesh and blood, men with hearts and men with souls, through trodden down like mud. Our feasting was not glad with night, our music was not gay. On my mother's graceful head I marked a trade of grey. My father, frowning at the fair, seemed every dish to wait. I sat beside him, sole princess, in my exalted place. My ladies and my gentlemen stood by me on the day. A mirror showed me I look old and haggard in the face. It showed me with my ladies, all are fair to gaze upon, plump, plentless haired, where everyone laughs, secret law is known. We laugh by day, we sleep by night. Ah me, what is a throne? The singing men and women sang with night as usual. The dancers danced in pairs and sets, but music had a fall, a melancholy windy fall as at a funeral. Amid the toss of roaches to my chamber back we swept. My ladies loosed my gold chain. Meantime I could have wept to think of some engalling chains where I walked or slept. I took my bath of scalded milk, delighted waiting on the burnt sweet things for my delight, cider and cinnamon, where lit my shaded silver lamp, and left me there alone. A day went by, a week went by. One day I heard it said, men are clamoring, women shading, clamoring to be fed. Men like famished dogs, howling in the streets for bread. So too whispered by my door, but thinking I could hear organic truth, and garrished for royal here, fit for cooping in the background, not to stalk so near. But I strained my utmost sense to catch this truth and mark. Where families out crazy like cattle in the park, a pair of peasants must be saved, even if it bid an ark. A merry jest, a merry laugh, each strolled upon his way. One was my page, a lad I reared and bore with day by day. One was my youngest maid, as sweet and white as in May. Other footsteps followed softly with a waiting tramp. Voices said, picked soldiers have been summoned from the camp to quell these base-bound ruffians who make free to howl and stamp. Howl and stamp? One answered, we made free to hurl a stone at the minister's state coach, well aimed and stoutly thrown, was the work on for the soldier, for the rank crop must be mown. One I saw, a poor old fool with ashes on his head, whimpering because the girl had snatched his crust of bread. When he dropped, when someone raised him, it turned out he was dead. After us the Luke was returned with a laugh. If bread's the stuff of life, we must walk without a staff. While I aloof, were welcome to my blessing and the chaff. Weeks passed. The king stand up, said my father with a smile. Daughter mine, your mother comes to sit with you a while. She said today, and who but you her sadness can beguile? He too left me. Shall I touch my harp, now while I wait? I hear them doubling guard below before our palace gate. Or shall I work the last gold stitch into my veil of state? Or shall my woman stand and read some unimposing scenes? There's music of lulling sound and words that pause between. Or shall she merely fan me while I wait here for the queen? Again I caught my father's voice in sharp word of command. Charge! A clash of steel. Charge again, the rebels stand. Smite and spare not hand to hand. Smite and spare not hand to hand. Where swelled a tumult at the gate, high voices waxing higher, a flash of red reflected light lit the cathedral spire. I heard a cry for faggots, when I heard a yell for fire. Sit and roast where with your meat, sit and bake where with your bread. You who said to see us starve, one striking woman said, sit on your throne and roast with your crown upon your head. I this thing will I do, when my mother tarriff. I will take my fine spoon gold, but not to sue wherewith. I will take my golden gifts and cream of fan of wrath. With the ransom in my lap, a king's ransom in my hand, I will go down to this people, will stand face to face, will stand where a cursed king and queen and princess of his cursed land. Where shall take all to buy them bread, take all I have to give. I, if I perish, where today shall eat and live. I, if I perish, where's the goal I have conquered? Once to speak before the world, and bare my heart and show the lesson I have learned, which is death, is life to know. I, if I perish, in the name of God I go.